Golfers, the season is almost here, and far too many of you know just how rusty the body can feel when you get back to work on your gear. This year, we want that to be different, and that is what this video is all about, because here we're going to go through the 5 simple exercises of the Driven Mobility Assessment to see if you are flexible enough to create a good golf swing. Okay, along with this is actually first in a 3-part series getting you prepared for the season. We're going to look at your rotation, and then we're going to help you deliver more speed. All right, and there's some really cool free downloads here in the description. You're going to get full access to the course for our mobility assessment. Huge amount of information on golf biomechanics, how to test and how to improve. All right, you can also get an additional YouTube discount in our pre-season event for the best workouts in golf over on the Driven app. Mobility is there. That is how you really improve this year. All right, so we're going to look at these 5 exercises. Let's get to work. Our first mobility test is all about the setup position. Now, this is about organization, connection to the ground, and also being ready to go but not tense. So this really is about how you stack your center of gravity, how you balance the weight between your feet, and how the big muscles are primed to move into the backswing and into the loading of your golf swing. And that is why we're going to use the simple bodyweight squat. Here you have to organize all of those big muscles through the joints, and we test your range of motion. It's a very much a fundamental movement where we're going to bend at the knees, let our hips drop, and work down into that full squat. Now, we are looking for your feet to be pretty much shoulder width apart. At this point, if we go too wide, some people are going to struggle. Go too narrow, you're not going to have the balance. So really, we want to standardize and go that shoulder width apart position. From here, you want to engage down into the big muscles, okay? So we don't want to rock into the toes. We don't want to go into our heels, because just like our golf swing, if we're not connected to the ground, you are going to lose stability and you're going to lose quality of movement. So once we set our feet, we are then looking at that neutral spine position, which is super important for your golf swing, okay? And so many golfers are limited through the hips, and doing this test, you're going to find out exactly how limited you are, because if those hip flexors on the front side are too tight, it's going to pull you forwards. You're not going to be able to get into that full squat position. That's why even such a simple movement is an incredible way to test your setup position. So feet set, eyes forwards, where you can have your hands out in front. We're going to drop down. We're going to get the hip past the knee crease and look for that full range of motion. If you can maintain that neutral spine and work all the way down, this is where your setup position is going to come from. So, feet engaged, eyes forwards, drop into your squat, drive, and stand up. Okay, so that is going to be a full range of motion. You can see other examples here, and that is what we're looking for. This is something that you can improve with hip mobility and overall range of motion exercises that allow you to organize the body and get into a full squat position. How does this benefit your golf swing? Exactly what we talked about. Engagement, stability, and the big muscles ready to fire up into your swing. Because if we're connected here, we can retain our posture working through the swing, the big muscles can fire, we can use the ground, and from there, we can have an effortless, powerful golf swing. Test number 2 is all about creating a fully loaded, wide backswing so that when you change direction, you have all of the potential energy and quality of movement to drop the club into a great position, create awesome ball striking, and create more power. To test mobility into your backswing, we are going to focus on your thoracic spine. Basically, the middle of your back, and somewhere where so many golfers get tight from sitting at a desk, driving, and just generally being a part of the modern day lifestyle. But when we get to the golf course, if we're restricted through the thoracic spine, you're going to be losing your posture, you're going to be restricted in your rotation, and from there, we cannot load, we cannot get into the optimal backswing position, and our golf swing is going to be restricted. So here we use the static windmill test, and yes, we are going to test both sides of the body. We don't just look in one direction, we're looking for symmetry here as well. Okay, so to perform the windmill test, we are going to take a wide stance. Okay, this is going to be outside of your shoulder width, but make sure both feet are still flat. very slight bend at the knee. Make sure you are in a comfortable position. Okay, this does form part of the test itself. We need to be able to hinge at the hip and get into the position that we need. So into the start position. Stay engaged to the ground, hinge at the hip, and then let your hands touch the ground if you can do. We are then going to walk to one side of the body, touch the foot, and we're going to rotate up and around. What we're looking for here is a full 180-degree turn. Okay, that is the high end of this test, and that is maintaining excellent stability through the lower body and a wide range of motion through the thoracic spine, up and around the body. Okay, so once you can rotate like that, we can apply that to the dynamic movement of the golf swing. Like we said, we always test both sides, so we go back in, we're in control, you can hold onto the foot with the opposing arm, reach up and around, and aim all the way for that 180-degree rotation. This is a challenging movement, but it's going to give you incredible insight into how much you need to focus on the thoracic spine, on the upper body, and how you rotate to create your golf swing. One of the best things about creating an optimal loaded backswing is that it makes the downswing, that transition movement, easier than ever. And honestly, that's the hardest part of the golf swing, and that's where so many golfers go wrong. Because if you're not loaded and rotating well into that trail hip, too often golfers are going to come over the top or get stuck underneath, and that means your dispersion is going to be pretty wide. Okay, so now that we've focused in on the backswing, you're loaded up, you understand where you need to work on to get that position, we're looking at the downswing. Okay, so this is all about separation. You'll hear analysts, golfers talk about that, how the hips fire first, how the upper body stays back, and it's this stretch between the upper body and lower body. Okay, the more the hips can turn to the target whilst the upper body stays back, the greater the stretch, the greater the potential for club head speed. But also importantly, that's going to help us keep the club behind the body into that optimal pre-impact position to then release the face and hit the golf shot that you want to. All right, but that separation is difficult, and it relies on mobility, which is why we use the split stance rotation test. For the split stance mobility test, you're going to use a golf club, okay? And very simply, we're going to go into that split stance position, okay? So that would mean your body goes right between your legs, all right? We're not backwards or forwards. Your center of gravity is going to sit right between the legs, okay? So that trail knee's pointing down, the front foot's engaged to the ground, and our torso is in a very neutral position. This position is important because it allows us to work on our lower body stability in that asymmetrical position, one leg doing different to the other. Okay, it fires up the glutes, your hips are working, and it fixes them in position. It's very hard to rotate into the side that we're going to rotate on whilst here. Okay, that's the idea. We're trying to lock the hips, and now we're going to rotate the upper body. Okay, that's where that separation comes into. So we're locked and loaded. From this position, the club's out in line with the chest. We're going to rotate over the lead leg. Okay, so this is very much challenging your balance as well, and it's that separation. Okay, we're turning the upper body independent of the lower body, and that gives us a great idea of how much potential you have. Okay, so set down into a solid position, club up to arm's length, and then from there we rotate, looking to get to 90 degrees. Okay, that's why we use the club, because it gives us a really simple gauge. Okay, and also when you perform this test, number one, always test both sides. Okay, we're looking for imbalances, we're looking for different ranges of motion on the right and left sides of the body to help you understand your golf swing. And outside of that, don't cheat the test, okay? If we can just move our arms around the corner, that's not rotation, that is compensation, okay? So really keep that club out in line with the shoulders, fix that position, and rotate, feeling yourself work through the hips while staying in balance and creating that rotation that will allow you to separate in the golf swing. Okay, the lower body's stable, the hips are working well, the big muscles are firing, and we're creating that rotational pattern that works into your golf swing. Okay, so to pass this test, we are looking for that 90 degrees of rotation on both sides of the body. That gives you the potential to rotate really well in your golf swing. So at this point, we have solid posture. We can rotate around the spine, we can stabilize the lower body, and we can separate, okay? Now it's time for impact. And what's going on at impact? everything, okay? All of that potential energy, that potential force you've created during your swing is now being delivered down into the ball, and we have to be able to resist those factors as well as deliver all of the energy into the club head, okay? Because if we're inefficient, the body's doing an awful lot, but we're not applying it to the club itself, the ball is not gonna fly the way that we want it to, okay? So what we're looking for here is incredible engagement of the big muscles to use the ground, to stay in our posture, and to create massive pressure into the ball, okay? And where so many golfers struggle is that when they come down into the ball, that hip mobility and the glute activation leaves them, okay? That's where we get that humping of the ball, okay? We have to relieve that position when we really don't want to. The best players are all going to be down into the ground and then pushing to extend to maximize club head speed. Too many amateur golfers will find that as they come down into the swing, their hips cannot maintain that load. They have to stand up. That weakens the club, and it's going to see a drop-off in consistency as well, all right? So we've looked at those other factors. We're working on a hip mobility. That means to test our impact position, we are looking at the glutes, and we're going to use the bridge. Very simply, the glute bridge is going to show us if we can fully activate the glutes, if we have that symmetry, and if we can get to an excellent impact position. So, taking this lying position with feet flat, knees up, we are then going to take our arms above our chest. The first part of the test is just a simple standard glute bridge, okay? So feet flat, we then want to engage the glutes, all right? Feels like you scoop underneath, don't push the pubic bone forward first. Feels like you scoop under, engage the glutes, and get to that fully extended position, okay? You can hold and then relax, okay? That is part one of the test. That is both glutes working together, activating, and getting to that nice flat position from knee all the way down to the shoulder, okay? Part two is going to be single leg, all right? We're always looking for asymmetries in the golf swing, in your positioning and in your mobility. This is a big one, okay? So here, take one leg at the same angle of the leg that is on the ground, hands back out in front, and then we engage, aiming to get to that fully extended position, okay? So you should feel it in the glute. If you start to feel it in the hamstring, you have an imbalance, we need to work on that. As always, working both sides, looking to work the glutes, and we're looking for a hip drop as well, okay? So when you push up, we're really looking to see this nice straight line from shoulder through to knee with full engagement and full stability, okay? This one, we have to get down, we have to engage the glutes. We want to isolate because this is so important for your position, okay? But when you can do this, when you can get those glutes functioning, you can have more power, more consistency, and better ball striking in your golf swing, all right? So get your bridge on, let's be really accurate in terms of how you use each side of the body, and make sure you get that free download on the mobility assessment to understand the different levels of hip activation and exactly where you're at. All right, the whole point of the mobility assessment is to give you a simple, effective way to test your mobility for the golf swing. Right? It's going to take you less than 10 minutes. It's going to give you an incredible amount of data to inform how you improve, all right? Because if you're trying to get a specific golf swing position, but your body can't deliver, it doesn't matter how much technical work you are going to do, you're not going to be able to achieve it, okay? That's why so many golfers have golf lessons and don't see the results that they want, okay? You're trying to achieve something that you cannot physically do, and it's so easy to improve your mobility, okay? So simple, not easy. That's the wrong word, all right? Because it is the consistency element, it is having a plan, and it is making that progress over time, all right? So we've already got our rotation, our posture, our glute activation, hip mobility. Our fifth and final test is a little bit of fun, but also it's relative to your finish position, all right? We all look at the golf swings, apart from Scheffler, I guess, where the player finishes in beautiful balance, all right? And that is symptomatic of an effective golf swing because everything that went before it is then in a good position, okay? So we're looking at balance, and the final test, very simply, is a single leg balance test, all right? Again, we're gonna use a golf club just as a guide, and it is exactly as it sounds. We're looking for 15 seconds plus of single leg balance, all right? It sounds like a funny one. It sounds like something everyone can do. you will be surprised, okay? And also, we need to get that knee all the way up to a 90-degree angle with the hip, just to show that hip mobility one more time, all right? So bring that club up in front of you, knee up to the hip, and then stabilize, okay? So the foot is working, you'll feel just little adjustments, you're gonna feel that position, and we wanna go 15 seconds plus, all right? So if you do start to wobble, that's okay, but you can't fall, guys, all right? So making sure our connection to the ground is solid, our overall awareness and proprioception of our movement is being tested. And like I say, it's a little bit of fun as well, all right? So club out in front, we go to the other side, see if there's any imbalances in the body. You don't have to talk all the way through this, but I do because we're on the video, okay? So you're finishing out with the test. This is one that you can improve every single day, all right? Stand on your one leg for a period of time, have some fun, and see actual progress over time, guys, all right? Those are 5 exercises. You can do them during a golf lesson. You can do them at home before you go play. And basically, it's about progression over time, all right? Each exercise is scored out of 5, okay? This is very important because if you're a 3 now and you do 2 weeks of work and you become a 4, that's real progress, all right? And that's gonna impact your swing more than you think it is, all right? So, get yourself a score. You need to go to the free downloads to be really accurate with your scoring, get some more detail, get some more information, and actually learn a whole lot more about golf swing biomechanics, all right? But this is a mobility assessment. This is part 1 of a 3-part series for our pre-season here at Driven, because we want to help you get to the course feeling your best, injury-free, and ready to absolutely crush the course this year, all right? So, make sure you get this done and tell us all about it.